Hello, and welcome to episode 113 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all things Nintendo. My name is Kevin, and with me this week for some therapy is Harrison.
Hey, welcome back. I'm happy to be here. Hope you're having a good Nintendo week. Scan that QR code, get us to 200 subscribers, followers on YouTube, and I hope listeners have a good week as well. Did you play anything this week?
Yeah, I finally finished Ukulele Impossible Lair. Took an even 50 attempts, which I thought was kind of cool. Although one of them I did hit a glitch, so I don't want to count that one. Technically it's 49, but still. It took me 50 tries to beat that impossible lair, and that was using the armor they give you. So those people who go through perfect run it, I don't know how you do it. That's crazy. Like I could never. But that game's over and done with. There were a lot of games on sale this week. I kind of wanted to talk about. I picked up a bunch, which I don't normally do, just because stuff's on sale. But this week I fell for it. So I got Mega Man 11, which is nice on my Switch now because I have the two collections. So I have 1 through 11 all right on there. I'm excited to play that one because I haven't played it yet. And I saw that they like updated the graphic style and started like advancing the series, which I thought Mega Man 10 was kind of a 9 and 10 were they had their pros and cons, but I feel like they could have done what 11 did and try to advance the series forward a little bit. What else did I get? Because the coins are going away, the gold coin program, the eShop points or whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're called. I spent those because they're gone soon. I bought Octopath Traveler, which was on sale for like $23, I think. I'd never really thought about playing Octopath Traveler before, but I love Square RPGs. I like that style of game, and everybody always talks about how good of a game it is. So I figured might as well. It's on sale. I got to spend these coins on something. I got that. I'll probably end up getting addicted when I play it and jump right into Octopath Traveler 2. But what else did I buy? Oh, I got a short hike, which you've recommended. I actually started that today, and I feel like there's something else I got that it's slipping my mind right now. I'll shout it out in the middle of the episode when it occurs to me. But anyway, I bought a bunch of games on sale. Wow, what have you been up to this week?
So we can't use gold points after they uh are
I
done.
think they no, I think they're gonna stop. All like you can't get them anymore at the end of this month, but they're good for up to. I don't remember if it was 6 months or a year after you got them. So like people who get them the day it expires can still use them up to 6 months later or something like that. But I was
Okay.
just like, yeah, the program's over. I'm gonna use them now.
Yeah, so I don't forget I'll do the same. So I guess that's for me, it's probably ukulele or, some Lego game that's gonna be, like, 90% off that I'll pick up. That's too bad. We just need incentives to we just need more incentives to get digital, but,
Mm.
yeah, I digress. We talked about it last week, we'll see how the prices go, hopefully there is incentives in the next generation for consumers, considering how well we are planning the Switch 2 to go. And speaking of which, let's talk about that Bloomberg report if we're ready to move on. So, not much in the news this week, but Bloomberg analysts, which sound important, I'm not sure if they
Sure.
are, but they certainly sound important. Made some pretty bold predictions, all of which are ones that we have speculated on here. So, hey, um, Nintendo Therapy and Bloomberg are pretty much the same, as I've always said. If you listen to one, you don't got to listen to the other. So, anyways, I digress. I'll stop joking around. Analysts at Bloomberg predict $400 sales price for Switch 2 at launch, which we've speculated on here many times. Um,
Mhm.
they're worried about the sales prices due to trade. That's all I'm going to say about that. Um, and they predict 20 million units, somewhere around there for the first year. Now, again, if you're an analyst or how you get these numbers, I don't know. I'm just saying what they're saying. But 20 million by a lot would be like the biggest launch for the Nintendo console by a very margin. If that were the
Yeah, for
case,
reference, the Nintendo Switch sold 13.12 million in its first year.
which is a lot.
Yeah,
Which is a lot for a Nintendo console anyways.
but it's built
Especially
its popularity, it's built its brand over time,
yeah,
so that's probably what they're factoring in there is it's
yeah.
a big audience now.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go from the Wii U to the Switch and then the Switch is it's not gonna be like that, but
Mhm.
still, yeah, that would be a ton of sales in the first year. They're predicting 6 to 8 million units available at launch, and I even saw a report yesterday that there have been over 400,000 units sent to America already. I don't know if
Yep.
that means they're done. I
I
don't know.
think that means they're in storage houses before like, they're obviously not at the retail locations yet, just, like, hanging out in a back room, but, yeah, I think they're in a storage house somewhere probably, with limited access.
So, with all that being said, that last thing, I don't know where that last one came from, but someone found the report of being shipped over. So, that's good news. I mean, that means that most likely if you want a Switch 2 at launch and you live in America, no problem there. So, that's that's good. That's in other generations.
Yep.
Prediction of a June release, with all that being said. They're predicting a quick release after the April, direct. So June, that's what
I
we've said on here.
I've been saying June this entire time. I believe October was when the June rumors started, and it seems like every time a new source gives us a rumor, they also say June. So I've been a heavy believer in June for a long time now.
Yeah, and, strong first party at launch, strong third party in the first year. They mentioned games like Call of Duty, which, again, we've talked about on here. Or just, said why it should be on the Switch 2 system. That's pretty much it. So, anything else for this article? Like I said, every speculation they've given are things that we speculated on here in the past.
Yeah, it's just like, the rumors are seem accurate, it seems like, because every time we get a new source, it's new source, same information over and over and over again. June release, strong lineup, third party games, $400 price tag, $450 with a game included. It's like the stuff over and over and over. Trying to look at how sorry. Uh, trying to look at how the week breaks down here. Um is this so this up gonna come out on the 21st that we're recording right now. So we only have one more episode before we're gonna have that reveal.
I can't
That's
wait.
crazy.
I some software. I really that's the big one. I've been
Mhm.
thinking so much about the all the leaks that we got, and I mean, it's hard to understand or know exactly what Nintendo was intending, but it's pretty fair to say that they weren't trying to be the most safe when it comes to keeping the Switch 2 a secret. But when it comes to software, we've heard pretty much nothing besides
Yeah,
Mario Kart, which they told us. So
that's a good point.
so I'm just excited. Like I wanna know we get any kind of 3D Mario news, like, 2 weeks from now. Now, do we know the title of the next 3D Mario game? Because Like, I'm predicting we get a Metroid Prime update. Perhaps we get a I don't know. We got a Pokemon update already. We'll get Carl, we'll get Metroid Prime, maybe we'll get some third party, what's coming day one. But yeah. Do we get 3D Mario news on this April Direct? What do you think?
I mean, I feel like rumor mongers who make stuff up are just gonna, you know, pepper us with things in that week before. But I don't think anything major is going to leak.
Not
If
not
it
leak,
hasn't, yeah.
not leak, but on the April on the April Direct, is that when we
Oh,
get the
sorry. I thought you were saying before. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. No, yeah. I think we're definitely going to get some Mario news at the April Direct. Even if it's just, I know we always fall back on this as like the safest option. Literally, even if it's just a logo that comes up and it says like, Mario subtitle.
Well, that was my next question, and we've maybe predicted it on here, but I forgot already. Is it Odyssey 2 or is it a new title?
I think Nintendo has shown a pattern that they don't. I can't think. Have they ever made a sequel on a next system? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they view every new system as a new start. Because Galaxy and Galaxy 2 were both on the Wii. All the Super Mario Brothers movies were on the NES. Then when it went to Super Nintendo, it was Super Mario World. Except in Japan, that was called Super Mario Brothers 4 in Japan. So that one's a gray area. Yeah, I think for the most part, every new system has been a new start for them. So I think they're going to continue that trend.
It's just gonna be a lot like Odyssey. Like,
Yes.
perhaps it's Odyssey 2, but we call it something different. Although, I would like to see them take some things from Galaxy and put them in a I've been mentioned on that, like, maybe expand more like, now that you have, like, technology to expand that world a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, no,
I hope
like
we do.
I they do it sort of like Breath of the Wild did with Zelda, is incorporate things from like everything. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of all of Zelda in there, but put a little bit of all of Mario in there.
Yeah. Exactly, exactly. See if there's any kind of crossover. Yeah, that could be
Mhm.
fun to speculate. That could be fun to see. We're gonna get some surprises that so it's April. They haven't said how long, or have they? Like how long of a presentation?
I could be misremembering this, but I feel like I saw a rumor that said that it was going to be 40 minutes long, but I
Okay.
could be wrong.
If it's a rumor, then yeah, I hope so. I hope
Mhm.
we get like a jam-packed 40-minute. That would make sense. I bet present a lot of the hardware. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'll be interested. Like if we're getting a June release, um, yeah, I think we're gonna find out that some people knew more than they were telling people, whether it's
Yeah,
journalists
and
or
I think
YouTubers
we're
or
also going to see at least 5 minutes worth of games that nobody cares about. You know you know how they do that like every Nintendo Direct, there's just so many like straight to the eShop like games that everyone's like, "Okay, all right, next, next, next." So, we'll get a lot of that
sure.
in there too.
Sure, there'll be games someone cares about, but then there will also be games like Just Dance where a lot of people
Yeah.
care about it, but not like the traditional. Hopefully, we get some things with hardware that shows off like the Miiverse, or shows off, hey, we did something with the eShop, or hey, you're getting Game Pass, or we made a new Switch Online application. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they show off voice chat, or let's move on. I could talk about this I could speculate the entire episode. So, what
So
did
the
you
only
have?
other news story I wanted to talk about this week is they announced that Croc Legend of Gabos remaster, that PlayStation 1 classic, is coming in April to the Switch. It doesn't say Switch 2, just says Switch, which we are pretty sure it's not going to be out in April anyway. But so April's real. Let me double check this. Did it mean April of this year? It's dropping next month. It looks like it. Yeah. Yep. It says Nintendo Switch. It doesn't have the generic one that the Galele trailer used, where it didn't specify Switch 2. Because remember, that was before they even confirmed Switch 2 was the name. the ukulele trailer. So anyway, I'm floundering here. Let me just get into this story. So, one thing I just wanted to mention with this that I think is interesting is if anybody out there didn't know, the Croc series, especially this first game, started off as a pitch that Argonaut founder Jeez San created to pitch to Nintendo as a Yoshi game. This was going to be a Yoshi standalone 3D environment game in a pre Mario 64 world. And the Argonaut founder did an interview recently. I feel like it was recently. It could have been like 3 years ago for all I know, but they did an interview where they talked about, I don't know if you saw this back in the day. They kind of take credit for the idea of Mario 64 in the interview. Like they're like, we showed them what we had with this Yoshi game, and they decided to go make their own game, and they made Mario 64. Um, so a lot of he said, she said involved in that type of thing, but it's just an interesting thing to think about.
Wow. Just this year, Croc, Gex,
Mhm.
Glover. What am I missing? 2025 is just gonna be like the year of
Especially
90s
all the
mascot.
JRPGs that are getting re-released too. Like you had Chrono Cross, you had the Suikoden, you have Lunar coming out next month. All these PlayStation 1 90s also getting rebooted.
PS1 era. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, JRPGs and obscure mascot 3D platformers. That
They must sell well.
yeah,
That's got to be it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So where is
Tomb Raider Legacy Collection came out recently too.
yeah. Yeah, so we talked about it on here before plenty of times, but where is Quest 64? They're just gonna
Yeah.
ignore that game.
Make a new Quest game that's what Quest 64 was promised to be. Put people in the towns,
Yeah,
have horseback riding, all that stuff we didn't end up getting,
it
which
would
is
never
funny.
happen.
It's always funny to me when I think about the fact that they talked about horseback riding in Quest 64 because if you play it, all of like the stables are still there. They're just empty. And it's just like I remember exploring those and it was just interesting. Like all like that part of the map didn't get changed. That's where the horses would have been.
This is where I would have put my horse if I had one.
Exactly.
Some kind of verbal meme. Yeah, what they could do it. When I was going through the list of Switch games, because there's over 100 Switch games that sold over 1 million units. When I was going through that list, it's like, oh, Thief Simulator sold 1 million copies. So, you know, they can make a new Quest game. They never would, but they could make one and it would sell over 1 million copies, I think, easily. Just
Yep.
from the install base alone. And
I'll just take them putting it on the Switch Online service. That's what I feel like I say that every week for something, but literally, I don't need remasters. I don't need remakes. Just give me access to the original game. Just put it on Switch Online. I'm fine.
Croc. The only thing I know is that Croc sold really well in Australia. He is,
Uh, that makes sense.
and I've brought up before. It's like the Australian Legend of Zelda game. I thought that was
Wow.
just it's not, but it sounds like it could be. Legend of
I'm
the
actually am curious. Like if it's on I'll pick this one up on sale. I wonder
it's
why
not
it's not a collection because there's a few Croc games. I wonder why just the first one.
trying to, gauge the audience, see how much interest there is. Is there a price?
Let me check. I was checking how many Croc games there are. Um, there's a Croc 2 and a Game Boy Color game just called Croc. So there's 3 games total in the series. Um, I don't think they have the price in here. Comes out next month. Maybe it's in the video. I didn't watch the video. I just read the article. I'll be fully honest.
Yeah, if it's one
And
another $20 game, that's gonna be 40% off at some point, then cool. But if it's a $40 game, then, eh, never mind. Because
And one last quick Google here.
'cause that's how much, Glover is.
Oh yeah, it's listed at least on this website I found as a $40 game, 39.99.
The
So,
collection would have been 60.
well, if it's on sale, if it's like 60, sometimes games like that are like 80, 90% off. So, it's not a definite no for me yet. It's
Yeah.
just not at $40 yet.
It's a for sure on sale game
Yeah.
because
It's not a day one.
I'm sure the people who are initially interested in it are gonna get it day one or get it early, and then it's a game that always goes on sale. And it'll
Mhm.
be available in the next console for sure. It'll be the same thing on the next console. So, speaking of remakes or remasters, we're recording this on a Wednesday, a day early, and I guess in America, I guess by now, I didn't check the eShop this morning. Xenoblade Chronicles X is out, but regardless, by the time this episode comes out, the remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles X, initial reviews, Metacritic has it at an 88, which is slightly above what the original was, but 88 is like a Metacritic must play. Great to see in 2025 a remaster do this well and look this good. Nintendo, props to them for just waiting this out and having a release that people are still interested in at this point in the console's life cycle. I'm sure there was talks about, whether they release it on this Switch or the next Switch. But looks really nice. I won't go too much into the gameplay reviews. People say that it's the best Xenoblade world. People say it's the best Xenoblade as far as gameplay progression goes. So this for me is like a for sure on sale when I have time. I know it's a really long game. I know every game's really long. So I'm interested. I think it looks awesome. How about you? Will you buy it on sale, or wait until the next generation?
I think I'm gonna pass on Xenoblade at this point. I'm so far behind. So I, there was a point where I was interested in the series, and I think they missed me because I was waiting for some of those games to come on Switch, and then by the time they did, I wasn't interested anymore. So I know it's got its fans. Sean actually has all the games, so maybe he can talk to us about how he's doing with that next time he's on. But I, I've got enough RPGs. I've got so many RPGs to get through that if they stopped making games now, I feel like I still wouldn't get to that one for another 5 years.
I don't know if I'll get to it either, but
Mm.
I was very happy to
Maybe I'll
see.
just jump in. Like if they put like a new one out on the Switch 2 and it gets like crazy good reviews, I might just jump in. But I don't think I'm going back to these with my backlog.
I'm not going back either, but this one I might play. It looks a little bit more post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it
it was
looks
very
like that.
impressive for the time, especially on the Wii. That thing was basically like a GameCube with 2 extra D batteries. It was not a huge leap forward technology-wise.
And it's not in the top 20 of Wii U top selling games, including
Mhm.
pack-in games, which is surprising that it didn't even sell 1 million copies because if you look on Twitter, again, like it seems like everyone who played Xenoblade played this game. So it just one of those things where I know Twitter doesn't represent the masses, but it felt like millions and millions of people played this game, and it's not the case at all.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
actually
also not a fan of that, I don't know what it is about, like, something about this game looks like it's very MMORPG inspired. Like, just even, like, as nitpicky as this sounds, just, like, the way the numbers and the health bars look and stuff like that, it like, that thin look to it doesn't appeal to me for some reason.
Well, that's the only big release we've had this week. So there you go. Our you Xenoblade fan listeners, let us know. Leave us a comment. Is this the best Xenoblade
Persuade us.
game? Because we got some black holes on Nintendo Therapy podcast. Xenoblade's one, Fire Emblem's
Yep,
the other, and then, in my opinion, we do pretty well. Yeah, we do pretty well outside of that.
think so.
So yeah. All right, that's the news for this week. We have extra time, so
Yeah, I really wanna play this
I'm
actually. I'd love to see
going
your
for it.
options.
This week we're playing a game of one's got to go. So I'm going to give you four games. And I'm gonna play along
Okay.
because I haven't picked yet. I'm gonna give you four games, and we're doing mainline consoles. So we have 7 rounds to go through in order. So we have NES. So you gotta pick one to eliminate forever. Mario Brothers
Mhm.
3, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, or Mega Man 2.
And we're assuming this isn't an alternate timeline situation where we still have like eliminating one game doesn't mean we don't get the following games.
Oh, I just assumed it was like we just eliminate the one game, but it doesn't change the
Yeah,
history?
I assume it means more like you're not allowed to play this. You have to say one of these games you're never going to play again, and not that you're changing history.
Yeah, but we gotta get rid of it for everyone.
Oh, for everyone.
But
Okay,
we gotta get rid of it for everyone, but hypothetically, like, Adventure of Link would still come out.
gotcha. Well, the least controversial answer here would be Metroid. It's definitely the least popular on there, but I want to keep Metroid. You're not going to like my answer. I'm least attached to Super Mario Brothers 3 in this group, but I'm leaning between that or Zelda because A Link to the Past did everything Zelda does, but I have so much nostalgia for that original Zelda. My answer is Super Mario Brothers 3. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay because for me, it's between Zelda and Mega Man. And Zelda pretty much for what you
Nope.
said. I Zelda's not a game that I really enjoy anymore, but is like so important. So I'm going with Mega Man 2,
I have
which is still
two
awesome.
waves. I have 2 waves of nostalgia for the original Zelda because I have the original nostalgia from the NES days, and then I have another wave of nostalgia from when it was released on the Wii and just, like, playing it with my Wiimote sideways and, like, I have nostalgia for that era as well, so, like, that game hit me twice.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about Zelda NES, I don't think really even about the NES days. I think about playing it on GameCube, like Animal Crossing.
Mhm.
Think about playing on the Wii. Was it on Virtual Console, like 3DS? I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah. So maybe
I'm
something like that.
almost positive.
Yeah, something like that, perhaps. So, um, this one's really tough. I'm gonna go Mega Man 2, which is an awesome game. I'm gonna go Mega Man 2.
Yeah,
All right, that was tough.
gonna lose a lot of good music, that's all.
All right,
Ooh,
Super Nintendo time. Woohoo! Okay, we're gonna do Super Mario World, Zelda Link to the Past, Donkey Kong Country, or Super Metroid. Really wish Sean was here right now.
yeah, first I upset you, and now I'm gonna upset Sean, because my option I'd pick here is Donkey Kong Country. It's a series I never really got that into, and I love those other 3 games, so this one's kinda easy for me.
I can't eliminate Mario World. I definitely can't eliminate Link to the Past, and I for sure can't eliminate Super Metroid. It's got to be Donkey Kong Country, which is an awesome
Yep.
game. I spent uh, a lot of time at friends' houses playing this game. It's
Plan to revisit it and try to see it through adult eyes, but I just never got into it back in the Super Nintendo days.
We have 3 games on here. Well, we have one game on here that is like one of the best. We have 2 games on here that are just so important. just so important to the. These are all really important to the Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That might be the toughest one. Let's see. In 64, we have Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye. Yeah, I'm just doing like the big ones today. So
I think I could live without Mario Kart 64. I know people say that GoldenEye isn't balanced and that it's all the multiplayer, but I actually enjoy the single player campaign in GoldenEye. So that's my answer. I'm booting Mario Kart 64.
yeah, me too. It's not the best of the series. It might be the most important of the series. I don't know. It might be. It's debatable. We can't get rid of the top two, Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. And GoldenEye, I'm keeping selfishly because, I mean, didn't everyone go to their friend's house and play this game? I'm
I
keeping
still
it.
regularly play those 3 games. It's Mario Kart's the only one here that I don't regularly play. I would play a newer one, you know?
Exactly, exactly. You could, um, we have the ultimate version now. All right, we're in agreement on this one. All right, GameCube. We have Smash Brothers Melee, Metroid Prime, Wind Waker, and Animal Crossing.
This is the hardest one for me so far. I gotta take a second. I think I'm going to eliminate Metroid for the first time. I love that first Animal Crossing in particular. I really love Wind Waker. I mean, everything's been said about it. And Melee's my favorite Smash. So, yep, I'm going with Metroid Prime. Great game, but I could live without it.
Yeah, me too. Melee, I think, is my favorite. Wind Waker, I played last year, and it was my favorite Zelda of the year, I think. And Animal Crossing, not gonna say it. You know, follow us for more Animal Crossing. I'm the Animal Crossing guy. Um,
The top 3 Animal Crossing for me. I would say the original, uh, New Horizon, and New Leaf are the 3 best ones.
yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, Wild World is great. It was a DS game, so
Mhm.
that's fair. Yeah, exactly. The first North American one. Okay, let's go to Wii. We have Wii Sports, Super Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess, and Mario Kart Wii. Yeah, the heart again, the software on this, I kinda ran out of games for the Wii and the Wii U, so where are you
Yeah.
going with this one?
I'm gonna pick Mario Kart again because I feel like this is another one of the duds in the series. It's not 8, it's not Double Dash, it's not, um these are probably the bottom 3 is like or the bottom 2 is like this one, 64, and you could probably argue the Super Nintendo one, even though I obviously have a soft spot for it, but yeah, I don't think this is a strong Mario Kart. I'm gonna pick that.
Me too. And I have not played Twilight Princess, so this year,
Oh,
hopefully.
I feel like it's the opposite of Wind Waker in that the criticism of Wind Waker was that, especially in the original release, the ending dragged on because they had this extra fetch quest that they took out of the HD version. Whereas I feel like Twilight Princess, the beginning drags on. It takes forever to get started. But once it does start, it's great. But it literally, like, you're in that first village, it feels like forever, even though it's actually probably only like 2 hours. But like, it feels like forever.
I need it. Need
Okay.
it on this next system. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. This could be. I mean, we could get. Oh, I hope we get some Zelda news this in the next couple weeks. I don't even know. Okay, yeah. There's so
I think we're
many.
gonna get a I think we're gonna get Zelda news. I don't think it's gonna be Twilight Princess related though. I think we're gonna get that Breath of the Wild HD announcement. It's gonna be predictable and everybody's going to both love it but also say like, but I wish I was getting something else.
The Zelda franchise in particular is one that could go in like any direction in this next generation. So
I don't
many
think we're gonna
options.
get a new 3D Zelda announced this year, though, although they could surprise us, but I think it's at least next year, if not the year after that, that we're gonna have to wait.
I think it's this year or next year. You know, it's like we can't have the Wii. We can't have the Wii.
Yeah, but I second year of the system's fine,
Yeah,
especially if they have the Mario games going.
yeah, sure. Exactly, exactly. It'd be like close to the launch, like relatively a year, maybe a little longer than a year is still relatively close because yeah, this system is going to be out till 2030 or something. Okay,
Yep.
all right. Zelda, enough. Okay. Um, Mario 3D World, Splatoon, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Mario Party 10. It's the Wii U. I mean, what do you want from me? I didn't know what to do because I mean, you're gonna find some Wii U games on the Switch part of this. You know, I think you can kind of assume at this point. I didn't have that many Wii U games to choose from. Go ahead.
I talked about our blind spots earlier. Splatoon is another one. I've never played a Splatoon. I'm not that into online multiplayer stuff, so it's just not my thing. It looks great for what it is. It actually reminds me of I've never heard anyone bring this up, but there was a mode in Perfect Dark. One of the battle modes they had in Perfect Dark was I forget what the mode was called, but you would color the rooms and the goal was to have the most rooms of your team's color, and it reminds me a lot of that. So, looks fun, it's just not my thing.
Splatoon reminds me of well, it reminds me of Pro Skater when you play like the multiplayer and you play the multiplayer paint game where if you get the highest
Mhm.
score on a part on a ramp or something, then it gets painted your color.
I think it was
And
the same thing with the rooms in Perfect Dark. I think when you got a
yeah,
kill in that room, or whichever team had the most kills in that room, or something like that, made it your color.
yeah. And I don't know if it's inspired by Sega not I'm gonna mess it not Jet Force Gemini. Um I have this weird thing of names where like I'll get two names that'll get like stuck in my head, but then get alternated. That's what's happening. And that's it. Yeah, I don't. I wonder if Jet Set Radio was any inspiration for Splatoon because there's I don't know.
Visually, they're very similar for
Yeah,
sure.
it's like a similar style. I have fun with Splatoon. I never played the original one. The online multiplayer is too intense for me. Uh, yeah, I wasn't a Wii U guy. 3D World is great. Tropical Freeze, have you played? I haven't.
No, but Sean loves it,
Sean
so I'll
played it.
take his word for it.
Is Mario Party?
My Wii U Nintendo title that I would put in here was Yoshi's Woolly World. That one was really good,
That would have been
but
good. That would have been a
yeah,
good one. Was Mario Party 10 a good game?
mixed feelings. I feel like throughout the fan base on that one.
Okay, okay.
Is
I'll
that the one where everyone was in a giant car? Let me look that up because they kind of blur together.
It looks
Um,
like they're all on a Wii U on in this picture.
Let me see because I know people do not like the one where everybody rode around the game board in a car together.
That is kind of a weird choice. Like,
It might be. I can't find the answer quickly.
uh, yeah, keep going. I'll go Splatoon on this because I'm about the same on Splatoon that I would be on Mario Party. Uh, like I don't know if I'm ever gonna buy another Splatoon or Mario Party game again, but I did have mm, fun with the new Splatoon game for like 20 or 30 hours or so. Switch, Breath of the Wild, like I said, you Mario
Mhm.
Odyssey, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Smash Brothers. I know what you're gonna pick.
Feel like the internet is not going to be with us on this, but it's my opinion, not yours. So sorry, but I could live without Smash Brothers. I'll bet the internet at large, if we put this to a big population, would pick Animal Crossing. Um, but I'm going to pick Smash Brothers. I think that's the one I could live without here.
Internet as a whole, I don't know. Is Animal Crossing
Just for
is
series popularity's sake, I think the other three franchises have a bigger fan base.
yes, but Did Odyssey sell the least on wait, which one sold the least on this? Because Animal Crossing and Smash Ultimate are both top 20 all-time selling games. We're doing tons of fact checking on this episode today.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, as it should be. We wanna be a reliable news source.
Yeah, but
Okay, so Animal Crossing New Horizons obviously sold 47. Oh, wow, they're almost at 50 million copies now.
almost, yeah.
Okay, Breath of the Wild was 32 million. We'll call it 33 million. They're almost there. Odyssey is right below it at 30 million. Was that what you were asking, I think?
And what was Smash?
Smash.
It's like
I
above.
haven't made it there yet, so it might be the least selling one on there. You're right. Wow,
Uh,
I still haven't made it there. Let me control F.
I thought
Oh yeah, it was more. That's why I couldn't find it scrolling down. It's
yeah.
because it was above. It's 36 million.
Yeah, because it was
So yeah, it basically goes Animal Crossing 50, Smash 36, Breath of the Wild 32, and then Odyssey 30.
I think Animal Crossing and Smash are still in that top 20 of all time selling games. So I'm going Smash Brothers because I play the other I would 3 over and over again. Smash I'm
Mhm.
kinda over it. Like it was more fun when I was younger or when I played more multiplayer, but as a single player experience, never invested time in it too much. Whereas
Well,
Breath of the Wild,
sorry.
Odyssey, Animal Crossing, yeah.
I'd love to know what our listeners would pick for each of these. So comment below, write us an email at nintendotherapypod@gmail.com. Find us on Blue Sky. Let us know what you would pick for each one of these to say, you know what, I can live without it.
Yeah. I don't know which one was the toughest
Wow,
for me.
you get no excitement there for that.
Yeah.
You're like,
No, I was just
yeah,
thinking just about the difficult decisions we made. You
yeah.
know, just I'm thinking about this last one here. That's all. That's all. That's all. Like, um,
Mm.
the Switch had lots of good titles, and yeah, I'm going to smash on this one. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna transition right over to the spotlight. Okay.
Well, Nintendo Switch Sports sold 16 million copies, huh? I don't know anyone who owns it.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like you get 10% of that install base, and that is a lot of people
Yep.
just over here dying. I'm good. We have no other news for the week. We have let's do something entirely different with our spotlight this week, right?
Okay. Yeah, so the spotlight this week is Altered Beast, came out in June of 1988 worldwide because Sega is good like that. At least they were back in the day. They didn't have, or they didn't always have, I should say, different release dates for Japan and North America. And this is an example of that. I played it this week. I was not a Sega household, as is evident by the fact that I have a Nintendo podcast. So this was one I don't have any nostalgia for. One thing I think I didn't realize until like a few years ago with Sega is just how ahead of Nintendo they were in a lot of ways. Like the fact that the Genesis, because to me, the Genesis didn't exist until the version that came with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't know why. I don't know what it was about their marketing, but I had never even heard of Sega Genesis until the Super Nintendo was already out, I feel like. Or maybe the same year as the Super Nintendo. But this came out in 1988. They had like a 3-year head start. I don't know why it took that long to catch on. But yeah, anyway, I played it this week and it's all right. What do you think of it?
I I think you have an idea why. I think I mean we don't know, but I think we have an idea of why in 1988 it might not have the same impact or effect as the NES initially. And I think it's because this is an example of a pack-in game of
Yeah.
like just showing like an overall lack of focus and just not knowing exactly how to perhaps market to the and
Mm.
hard to imagine back then because you all you had really was like Nintendo that was dictating what the future of gaming was going to be. And
Yeah,
Nintendo struck gold with games like Mario, but even like in the beginning, Nintendo was trying to figure out which IP they were going with. And clearly, when they figured out Mario, that's who they stuck with. Because who was that other male character protagonist we had recently? Um, we played
mm,
a NSL game on here recently that had another like not Mario but different male Nintendo character. So I think yeah I think when the Genesis came out, at least in America, um it had a lack of focus, and then Sonic made the Sega what we know it for now. But I guess going back, that it wasn't the case.
yeah, it's funny what you said about Nintendo, appealing to the masses is the way I think of it is I feel like I feel like Sega was marketing to arcade people and, like, people who hung out in arcades playing those games, whereas Nintendo was marketing to kids, just umbrella kids. Like, all kids should play this system versus, like, Sega had a lot of, like, arcade uh, releases on the Sega Genesis, and this was one of them. And it seemed like that was their focus, like people who were serious about those kind of games. Whereas Nintendo was like, can anyone pick this up and play it?
And that has remained true for Nintendo forever. With
Hmm.
every N64, I guess so. But I would say with every system that has remained true and even has gotten, perhaps this is just an internet thing, but it's even gotten a reputation of being like a non-gamer system. Like it's what non-gamers play. Like the non-gamers play the Wii, it's like just things like that.
I almost feel like they don't even see themselves as part of the video game industry at times. I feel like they consider themselves their own thing. You know what I mean? Like, I've definitely said that on the podcast before, where it feels like they look at what Sony's doing, they look at what Xbox is doing, and they're like, that's great for them. We're going to do our own thing over here.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's see themselves as more of a tech industry or entertainment industry or just probably just like their own thing where they say we're gonna make games that are good for everyone. Um,
Hmm.
and that's how we are successful. We're successful through our IPs, through our software sales. But that's
Yeah,
not what we're
like
talking
just
about.
look. Yeah, just look at this game here. The influences here for this game were Harryhausen films and the Thriller music video, which I guess Thriller was super popular at the time, but Harryhausen, like even this is kind of a niche thing for a pack-in game to have like a game with zombies coming out of the ground and you know ghosts and I don't know, kind of the type of thing that you wouldn't be seeing on the competition because they're playing it more safe. So it's just such an I know they had Alex Kidd, they were trying to make, like, a mascot at the time and a few others. It's interesting that this was a pack-in.
The Thriller, I mean, was huge. Yeah, I
Mhm.
get it, but the influence is that he's a werewolf. That's it.
Yeah.
Like because
Well, you get the zombies, I will say the zombies that come out of the ground look like the ones from the Thriller video, even though all zombies kinda look the same. But, I don't know, I feel like there's something about the color palette too. I can see the Thriller influence.
there's no dancing. The music is
There is
not
no
good.
dancing.
So it's very loosely based, but I get it because like I mean that was a revolutionary. That's one of the biggest music videos of all time. So like the influence is interesting. I think I
I
wrote
could
that
totally
there's
see Vincent Price narrating this game like he does in the Thriller video. That's
uh
him, right? I don't know.
yeah, I'll mention that because like I already mentioned that the sound is pretty unforgettable and pretty bad. The voice, the voice effects or the voice acting in this are iconic, I guess, because I remember seeing, like, the memes of it back in the day, but,
Mhm.
like, it's really like, the quality of it is, like, really, really bad. But I do remember the Welcome to Your Doom long time ago. I do remember some of that. And this is also something where I would just say that, like, you have to say that it's fine for a launch title, but for me, I don't think it's really that great. It's a beat 'em up. I think the controls are not that great as far as like the input goes. Um, beat 'em ups might be um the biggest genre we have on NSO. So this would be, I think, for me in the category of do you want the history of this system? Because I think this game is just very, very uneven. I don't think there's really anything there. I know there have been sequels and plans on bringing this franchise back, but there's really nothing there for me. Did you feel any different about controls, gameplay, just overall feel of this game?
The controls, I thought like, I don't know if it's the hitbox or what, but, like, I felt like you were very stuck inside a rectangle, you know what I mean? Like, your punches and kicks didn't seem to extend as far as they do in other beat 'em ups, and you had to get very close to enemies to damage them, and I feel like a good beat 'em up game, especially since it's a genre I don't play a lot, is like look at Turtles in Time. I think that's like the gold standard, or like the Simpsons arcade game was another good one where like you all the characters have like these range attacks where you really don't have to be to nose with the character to hit them. Um, and that was something that I always like noticed in games like these where they were like there's 2 types of beat 'em ups. There's ones that are like that and ones that are like this. So, yeah, the controls little wonky.
So that's it for me. I mean, that's what my recommendation would be. If it's something, if it's a history that you want, or you just really, really like beat 'em ups and you're just running out of beat 'em ups on NSO, this game is 105 for me, which I'm hesitant to say that it's a bad game because again, I can put it in the category, the idea that it is a pack-in game that came out in 1988, and graphically, it does look okay for 1988, but I think, again, it's very to me, it's very uneven with graphics for the backgrounds and the assets and the characters. It's uneven with the gameplay, just uneven overall is the word that I would go with. Where did you rank it?
Mhm. Well, before I rank it, there's also a, Game Boy Advance installment in the series. So we always talk about, like, games we'd like to see on the service. Why not have the Game Boy Advance version on there? That's definitely the part of the service with, like, the least games right now, so it could use whatever it could get.
Oh,
Um,
and this game is also available on every system. That's the last thing I'll say.
yep. Yeah, the Sega Classics collection and then, like, on virtual console shops and stuff. Yeah, it's widely available. As far as ranking, I actually forgot to rank it, so I'm gonna do this live here. Let's see. I think it belongs somewhere around here. I would rather play Kid Icarus. Okay. Would I rather play it's in the Golden Axe territory, and I definitely would rather play Golden Axe than this. So I'm gonna put it at number 97, which puts it right below Golden Axe 2, and
Handy.
it's right above Sword of Vermilion. So it's a big Sega Genesis block right there, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if it has anything to do with the Genesis struggling a little bit, um, being adapted to a 4-button system. I don't know.
all right, let's
I don't have my
find out
list
what we're playing next time.
on it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're returning to the original Nintendo, and we're gonna play some Tecmo Bowl, a game that I've heard legendary things about. I know this is a very fondly remembered football game. Obviously, I'm not a sports person, but I'll give it a go. All I got to say about that.
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl. I'm pretty sure it's available on the Switch eShop, like
Interesting.
separate. But it might be. I think they might have done a re-release of Tecmo Bowl because I see it everywhere. It's on mobile. It's on Steam. They might have done a modern re-release of it. Leave me a comment if you know. But that's for next week. That's the only. So you didn't group it, so I guess that's the only football game we have on NES, which sounds right because I
Yeah, it didn't
doubt.
pair well with anything else.
Yeah, and I played the other NES football games, and they're not good. They're not so good. Um, but with
Yeah,
John
2
Elway,
weeks in a row.
yeah,
We have only a single game. Interesting.
cool with me. Fine with me.
Less research. All right, thank you everybody for listening. We already talked about where you can find us on Gmail, on Blue Sky. You can scan the barcode, the QR code below, and let us know. Let us know what games you would have left out of the list. Let us know what you think of Tecmo Bowl. Let us know what you think of Altered Beast. Let us know pretty much any video game thoughts in general, and we'll comment on them. So thank you all very much for listening. Just keep in mind, we're Nintendo fans, not Nintendo experts, so we're doing our best. We'll see you next week to do our best again. Bye.